Chapter 1: Living Soil, Living Soul, Rooted in the Sacred Web of Life. Introduction. Every journey begins with roots. To step into spring is to step into the mystery becoming, into the hidden work that begins below the surface long before blossoms appear. The soil beneath our feet is not inert matter but a living fabric, woven of countless relationships. In its dark, unseen depths, seeds swell, microbes labor, and roots press towards nourishment. This unseen vitality mirrors our own inner ground, the soil of the soul where memory, creativity, and healing take root. The garden, then, is never just a place of production. It is a sanctuary where outer and inner worlds intertwine, where the soil's fertility and the soul's vitality rise together. To touch the soil is to touch a pattern that is both ecological and spiritual, a pattern that reminds us of our place in the great web of life. And when we sink into this living ground, something remarkable happens. Time softens, the mind grows quiet, our movements become less mechanical and more like a rhythm remembered. The simple work of digging, planting, or observing can draw us into a state of deep presence and absorption, where creativity awakens and healing begins. This is the flow of the garden, the current that carries us into communion. Section 1: Entering the flow state. Creativity is communion. There's a certain kind of magic that stirs to life when hands sink into the soil, when fingertips brush against cool earth and the scent of humus rises to meet the breath. Each motion, the turning of the soil, the planting of a seed, the gentle press of earth over roots, becomes part of a silent ritual. The garden carries us into flow, a state where the chatter of the mind dissolves, time loosens, and we find ourselves in a rhythm older than memory. This flow is not the spectacle of stage illusions, but a quiet, practical magic, subtle and enduring. In these moments, the garden becomes more than a place of labor. It becomes a sanctuary, a teacher, and a channel through which inspiration moves. I've found that when I am in the garden, digging, planting, harvesting, listening, I slip into a space that feels both deeply familiar and mysteriously sacred. It is not thinking in the ordinary sense. It is a dialogue with the land. I find myself following an inner compass, guided not by plans but by listening. The flow carries me. Section 2: The Field of Calm and the Healing Current. In this state of flow, the garden begins to function as a form of therapy, a sanctuary where the slow work of healing can unfold. The soil does not demand that we explain our wounds or justify our grief. It simply offers us a rhythm to fall into, a cadence that draws us out of turbulence and back into being. Looking back, I can see this truth even in my childhood. The garden of my early years was not a sanctuary offered in kindness, but a tool of control wielded by my stepfather. What was meant as domination became paradoxically the soil of healing. Even in the harshness of those hours, something deeper stirred. The rhythm of seasons, the quiet patience of seeds, the inevitability of ripening. The cruelty of one person could not erase the larger pattern of life. The very ground that held pain became, in time, the ground of renewal. This is the mystery of the field of calm. Beneath storms of weather and storms of heart, there is always a substratum of stillness waiting to be noticed. The garden teaches us to listen for it in the sway of leaves, in the patience of seeds, in the breath of wind. Psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi described flow as an optimal state of consciousness, absorbed, timeless, present. In the garden, this state requires no great performance. It comes through the simplest of acts. As we surrender to the cadence of nature, the nervous system downshifts, breath deepens, and the mind softens. Healing arises not as a sudden revelation, but as a slow unfurling, a steady return to balance. Section 3: Gardening is creative communion. What arises in this flow often feels like communion. In this space, I am both most myself and more than myself. I am the gardener and the soil, creator and created. Gardening is a creative act, much like painting or composing music. Each movement, whether weeding around a tomato, tucking mulch around a seedling, or trimming back an herb, becomes part of a living composition. And just as artists speak of their muse, I too feel guided by something greater. The garden itself becomes a muse, whispering insights and offering sudden clarity. Strangely, or perhaps not strangely at all, it is in this meditative rhythm that my best ideas arrive. Poetry forms unbidden, philosophical questions root themselves, creative visions bloom. This stream of consciousness is not chaotic, but ordered like nature, non-linear yet whole. These spontaneous reflections are seeds, raw, honest, fertile with meaning. Section 4. Flow as ecological mirror. The flow we enter in the garden reflects the flow of the soil itself. Just as a gardener in balance dissolves into presence, the soil enters coherence when its living members, microbes, fungi, roots, arthropods, are in harmony. Flow in the gardener mirrors flow in the soil. Both are states of reciprocity, balance, and wholeness. Mindfulness in the gardener and mutualism in the soil are parallel patterns. To tend the soil is to practice awareness. To practice awareness is to mirror the soil. Both reveal that life thrives not through force, but through relationship. Section 5, the sacred weave, symbiosis in the living fabric of soil. At the heart of every vibrant garden lies an unseen world in motion, the soil food web. Here, microbes, fungi, nematodes, arthropods, and roots weave a tapestry of symbiosis. Far from being a battleground of competition, the soil is a testament to cooperation, where nothing is wasted and even decay becomes nourishment. Bacteria acts as architects of transformation, fungi as great weavers, arthropods and nematodes as dancers of decomposition. Earthworms are rich and aerate, turning waste into microbial gold. Together they create fertility not through dominance but through reciprocity. When this web is disrupted by industrial practices, monoculture, synthetic inputs, deep tillage, antagonism arises. Pests surge, diseases spread, weeds dominate. These are not failures of nature, but signals of imbalance, reminders of what is lost when mutualism is broken. The soil food web is more than ecology. It is a teacher. It shows us that life is sustained not by isolation, but by interdependence. Conclusion. Weaving ourselves back in. The living soil is more than an ecosystem. It is a mirror of soul. Just as fungal networks connect roots beneath the surface, unseen threads of thought, emotion, and spirit connect us to one another and to the wider earth. To align with the soil is to remember our kinship with all life. Every time we compost, plant cover crops, or tend living roots, we are doing more than nurturing fertility. We are participating in the great act of reciprocity. These are not mere techniques, they are rituals of belonging. Each act says, I am part of this weave, I give and I receive. For me, the garden has been both wound and medicine. What was once a place of hardship has become the ground of healing, creativity, and communion. The soil never carried the imprint of cruelty for long. It returned to life, and in its returning, it invited me to do the same. That is the wisdom of the earth, that decay becomes nourishment, that darkness midwives life, that what is broken can be remade in relationship. This is what it means to weave ourselves back in, not as conquerors, not as strangers, but as kin. To garden is to accept the invitation of life itself, to join the living fabric, to contribute to its song and to let its song restore us. Spring is only beginning. Roots are pressing down, shoots are reaching upward, and something new is stirring in us as well. The invitation is here to live as if soil and soul are not separate, but two faces of the same mystery. Practice, hands in the soil, entering the flow. Purpose, to experience the garden as a gateway into flow, connection, and healing. What you'll need: a small patch of soil, garden bed, or even a pot of living earth. A simple gardening task: planting a seed, weeding, turning compost, or watering. Steps: 1. Arrive and breathe. Stand or kneel by the soil. Take 3 slow breaths, letting your attention settle into your body. 2. Touch the soil. Place your hands directly into the earth. Notice the texture, the temperature, the scent. Feel the life in it, the unseen network of microbes, fungi, and roots. 3. Choose one simple task. Plant a seed, tuck mulch, or gently clear weeds. Move slowly without rushing to finish. 4. Notice the shift. As you work, pay attention to your breathing, the quieting of thoughts, the rhythm of your movements. If your mind wanders, bring it back to the soil and the present act. 5. Listen. Pause occasionally. Notice what the garden says back to you: insights, feelings, images, or simply stillness. 6. Close with gratitude. When you finish, brush the soil from your hands. Speak or silently offer thanks to the soil, to life within it, and to yourself for showing up. Reflection. Afterwards, take a few minutes to journal. Write down how your body felt at the beginning and at the end. Any images, thoughts, or feelings that arose while working. Where you sense flow beginning to carry you.